Welcome to Red Stars Report, a podcast dedicated to bringing you the latest news and commentary on all things Chicago Stars FC. I am your host, LT.
And I'm your co-host Liz, and still thrown off by that name, and I will be probably for the remainder of the off season.
And we'll keep mentioning it. So we lied to the audience. We lied to the viewers, the listeners, because we were going to talk about the midfield uh, and how they performed this season for this episode. But something happened last week that surprised a lot of us, most of us probably everyone. Um, we knew it was coming soon. We didn't know if it would be this soon, but Alyssa Naeher, after the match that's happening today, the day this episode comes out, will be retiring from international soccer, and she won't be the goalkeeper for the U.S. women's national team anymore. However, she's still playing for the Chicago Red Stars in 2025. So, let's just get that out of the way. So,
Wait, you
every,
did it.
yeah.
Chicago
Oh,
Stars FC.
shoot. Okay. She's still playing for the Chicago Stars FC. Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Alyssa's retiring from international soccer. I thought, like, obviously a shock. I was driving on my way to work, um,
As it always happens.
and I got to work and I just saw a bunch of push notifications that were like, "Where's LT? Why isn't LT said anything about this?" People texting me like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "What is happening?" Like, I need to open up something and figure out what's happening. And like I said, I thought it was a shock, sort of, that it was this soon. I think I was just kind of living in denial that it would happen this soon, that she would retire from international soccer. But um, the incredibly humble and gracious person that she is understands that she's probably not going to make it through another cycle to the next World Cup. And she wants to step aside for the younger generation of keepers to fight for that number one spot. And I think that's completely understandable. Um, but she's just had such an incredible career, from her youth career in the U.S., um, all throughout her senior career, Olympics, World Cups, everything. Yeah, her accolade list, as Liz is about to read, is extensive. Um,
Fun.
maybe we should just go through that.
Okay, let's roll through it. Yeah, I just to agree with you, I was surprised, but I feel like in very much Alyssa Nair fashion, to announce your retirement when they're playing overseas in not in the United States and be like, these are my last two games is very on brand
Wild.
for her. So
Doesn't want
yeah,
the
there's that.
attention.
Nope, does not want that attention, but it's Alyssa, and I'm not surprised, but I do appreciate how like humble and understanding, and the fact that she's, as you said, she could keep playing, but she's choosing to step away so that the team has more time to develop a number one, whoever that may be moving forward with the national team. And she knows that that's going to, she need, if she steps away now, it gives them as much time as possible to do that. And so I love that. I did think that it was very interesting that her dad was very upset when she said that she was retiring. And then when she said that she was going to continue playing in Chicago professionally, he's like, oh, okay. Like, oh, okay.
So
So,
good.
yes, that's like, because he said something along the lines, he was not ready for her to be done,
Yeah.
which I think we all feel that way. We all feel her dad's pain. And he was at the game in England. So hopefully, I'm assuming he's going to go to the game against the Netherlands as well. But anyway, to run through the list, the lengthy list of accolades, and there are many more, but these are the big ones. Let's start it off with in 2008, all the way back to 2008, in the U20 World Cup. She won the U20 World Cup, and she also was the Golden Glove and on the all. They called it the All Star team back then of that World Cup. Going right with the World Cup, she was the 2015 and 2019 World Cup champion. She is an Olympic gold and bronze medalist. In 2018 and 2022, she won the CONCACAF championship. 2024, everybody remembers this final. She won the W Gold Cup. She is, as Emily Sonnet loves to rave about, a 7-time She Believes champion. In 2018, she was a Tournament of Nations champ. 2018 CONCACAF Goalkeeper of the Year and Best 11, and the 2024 CONCACAF W Golden Glove winner and Best 11. And that's just a very short list of numerous things that she has
That's just
done
the
for the
stuff.
national team.
That's just the stuff that's right at the top.
Yep,
That's the top 1% of what she's accomplished. Everything
exactly.
else below that, it also speaks for itself. I There's so much that I can talk about when it comes to Alyssa, and I don't want this to be like a um like
Swan song.
yeah, because it's because she's still playing professionally in Chicago. Obviously, we're a Chicago Stars podcast, so it's we still get to talk about her, cover her, watch her play every week. So it's like it's sad because I love watching her on the international stage, but it's not a goodbye to her career yet, and I think that's when I'll be like really broken by
Yep.
this. But she and I've if you've listened to Red Star's report from the beginning, there was an episode that I had very early on that I did alone where it was just me talking about like why Alyssa Naeher is the reason that I do all of this. Um, that 2019 World Cup, it was not the first time that I had watched the women's national team. I had been watching since I was a teenager. I think back to like the 2008 Olympics, which is not super fantastic. And um, but that 2019 World Cup, I just I remember watching her play and thinking like this goalkeeper is amazing. And then I just hear the announcer, whoever was doing the play-by-play that day, just say, you know, Alyssa Naeher also plays domestically for the Chicago Red Stars. And I was like, I feel like I've heard of them and have seen maybe a match or two here and there, but I had no idea what like I didn't realize how up and coming the NWSL was at that time. And I immediately just started watching matches because I wanted to see her. And then obviously I fell in love with, Sam Kerr and Yuki and all those players that played back then. But if it wasn't for catching that World Cup and how well she performed in it, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I probably wouldn't have built the community that we've all built. So like her on the international stage is what drove me in this direction in my life. And so that's why this is a big deal to me. Her retiring from international soccer. But like I said, it hasn't like totally hit me yet because she hasn't retired from domestic soccer yet. But like, so I just wanted to get that part out of the way before we talk about all the other stuff. Just so there's like an understanding of why this means so much to me.
Yeah, she's just a special player. And you think about just at the national level how things fell for her to be the starting keeper and earn that spot. Hope Solo obviously was a fantastic keeper for many years for the US women's national team. And then things happened. We are not going to get into that. Hope was no longer on the team. And then there was the Ashlyn Harris, Alyssa Naeher, who was going to be number one. Ashlyn couldn't stay healthy. And Alyssa could. She has been very durable given the injury. She has had a few injuries, but the longevity of her career, she has been incredibly durable at the national level and even for the Red Stars, whatever we're calling them. Um, and then also for the Boston Breakers previously. And so it's just a testament to who she is. She does so well at all facets of her job, and I can't speak highly enough about her. And that's why I think that it's important that we dedicate this little time to talk about her at the international level. And obviously, we are going to be all incredibly lucky to see her continue to play for Chicago Stars FC in the future. And who knows how long that will be? We do not know. We just know that she's currently on a 1 year deal for 2025. So let's hope that it's longer. I don't know, but we will get to see her play next year. So after the game on Tuesday against the Netherlands, we will not that's not the end of it. So as you've said, and we would like to just continue to reiterate, she's not going away. She's
Yeah.
going to still be here. I think she even made a comment in one of the press conferences at the net with the national team where she's like, yeah, I'm done here, but I'm still going to beat all of you in the NWSL. Like she's still got that fire. So
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 good.
she's still there. But yeah, that 2019 World Cup, I mean, if we want to get into some of Alyssa's greatest hits here, holy
Sure.
cow, there some of the saves that she made in her career, like that 2019 World Cup is right there with some of them. That game against France, I know a lot of people love to focus on that England game, but that France game was insane. As a quarterfinal, you're playing France in France, and just I have gone back and seen that game numerous times. I went to the World Cup, but I was not at that game. I left after the group stage game, so I did get to see her play against Sweden, Thailand, and I can't remember who the other team was. Australia, I think maybe. In that tournament, and it was. I've been grateful enough to watch her play in the last three World Cups. Well, she didn't play in 2015, but she was there.
She was
So
there.
she was there. But yeah, but I did see her in the last two. And so yeah, that France game, the pressure that was on both teams in that game, and they both stepped up, but the United States got the victory. That game to me was, as soon as we won that game, and that was Alyssa's coming out party to me, as like, I'm like the real deal. I am one of the best keepers in the world to go into France and play France in a quarterfinal of a World Cup, make incredible saves on some of the most talented players in the world. And the gauntlet that they ran in that tournament, insane.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier, but like she had been with the United States for a while through her youth career and then with the senior team for a while playing behind Hope Solo. And it because of what happened and Hope Solo leaving the team, you put Alyssa Naeher, who is a older, experienced player. Like she's not this young gun that's coming in. This is why you know, her career stats with the international team are smaller than some of the other keepers that people put in those top tiers because she wasn't on the national team as long as like a usual number one keeper is. And that's why, even though she's at like an age where you kind of expect her to retire, she doesn't have these like big glowing career stats because she was already an experienced keeper domestically when she got thrusted into the international stage, especially in that World Cup. And like you said, that France match was certainly her coming out party. And then that England match is really what had everyone be like, yeah, this is it. This is who we want. This is it. I couldn't remember if was it the France match or the England match where she saved that shot and then was just like laying on the ground while like everyone rushed to her. And then she's talked before about how like she got up and was like pushing everyone away, like, go away, I need to get rid of the ball because she thought she was gonna get a foul for it
That
or
was off the PK save of the
in
Houghton in
in
England game.
England.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
That's what I remembered. Like I just remember her talking about the her like the panic that she had because she's like, okay, I saved it. And now everyone needs to get away from me because I've already picked up the ball. I need to distribute it. It's just
Yeah.
it's so funny. It's so Alyssa like work mode. Like even though she just made one of the biggest saves of her career, she's like, we need to get to this. Like we need to go.
Yeah, Becky was hanging on for dear life, saying thank you for saving me because she's the one that committed the foul on
Right.
Ellen White and caused that
Yeah,
whole
it's
thing. But
coming
yeah,
back now.
yeah, Alyssa was. I remember that though. She was shoving everybody away, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's Alyssa just not wanting hugs." Then after the fact, she's like, "No, I needed to get rid of the ball."
So funny. But that's one of the things that um everyone loves so much about her is like, and she's obviously in the last, I would say probably year, maybe two, has gotten a lot more softer, gentler in the public eye, and especially like with her teammates in public. But she's always been this like stoic, humble, um, just very like a rock, like a stone, just figure in goal. And I remember like I mean it still is obviously there, especially when she's in game mode, like those moments like the first PK that she took, she like her just watching her take it, makes it, and then just straight faced just walks right back into goal like I'm ready to save another one. Let's go. Like that's Alyssa Naeher to me is just this stoic figure that I would imagine any player domestically or internationally is just like I don't know how I'm going to get by her. Like she's certainly feared in circles around the soccer community.
Sometimes PK takers like to play head games, and I feel like you cannot do that with Alyssa Naeher because she's just so like, no, there's nothing. Like, you're not going to mess with her. But yeah, like you talked about the longevity of her career and how she was kind of established. She did not get her first cap until December 18th of 2014. So technically she's going to be just shy of hitting the 10-year mark with the national team, with the game coming up on Tuesday. And so, but she, as in true Alyssa Naeher fashion, is somebody that is in the international level, gets clean sheets. She also got a clean sheet in that game against Argentina, and the United States won 7-0. But you think about it, like 2014, that doesn't seem that long ago to me. And
Yeah.
so, but 10 years of a career, and like you were talking about how she was behind people because she was more established. So she has started as of this moment, not including the game on Tuesday, 111 games. She has 89 wins and 69 shutouts. So just incredible stats. She's behind Solo and Scurry with that. But I mean, again, they played more games. So you're not really
Yeah. That's what I'm
like the
saying. Like they didn't
opportunities.
come in when like
Yeah.
them becoming number one keepers were at a younger age than when Alyssa, and then Alyssa obviously had um her full year of that injury when she injured herself in the 2020 Olympics, 2021, whatever you want to call those Olympics.
I never know what to call it. And then you throw out the factor that you can have this conversation of the competition has been jacked up. So across the board at the international level. For
That too, yeah.
so you look at the shutouts, you look at the wins, it's harder to win now.
That's
And so
still only 20 matches that weren't shutouts. What? That's like
yeah,
that's crazy.
but that I feel like with the US it's feast or famine. Like I feel
Yeah.
like that's kind of how it
I
rolls.
wonder if a lot of those like goal given up wins are on like the latter half of her career rather than early on because I feel like early on there were probably more shutouts with the international competition. nowadays it's a little more likely that the US gets scored on than not. Still
Agreed.
not super common, but certainly not uncommon.
Yeah, I agree. I also think to talk about how she softened up a little bit. I think that that has a lot to do with I think she kind of knew, like even in the last few years, that this was probably the plan. And so it makes me a little sad that I mean, obviously she's going to get to play with Mal like in Chicago. So that is not as sad there. But she has formed such a bond with Trinity Rodman. And again, they'll get to play
Yeah.
against each other. But like it makes me sad that Trin's not going to be able to be
Just
there for
come
her
on
final
over to
match.
Chicago, Tren. We're good. Like, come hang out with your buddy
I had a
Alyssa
dream the
while
other
she's done.
night that that happened because she missed Alyssa so much and she wanted to play with her. She's like, Kang, get me over to
Get me
Chicago.
to Chicago so I can chill with Alyssa until her career's over.
Could you imagine?
That would be unreal.
That would be Laura
Have a
Ricketts,
have
get
a
on that.
have a double espresso in Chicago.
We could have a double espresso for sure. But yeah, and then obviously they won that 2019 World Cup. And so that was Alyssa's first World Cup that she got to play in that they won. So that was exciting. Obviously she was part of 2015 as well. And then if we want to keep going down the list of my
Yeah,
greatest
let's
hits
go.
here, I've got the next I've got the 2023 World Cup, and I know a lot of people might be upset at me for putting the Sweden game on this list, but it's there. Alyssa was unreal in that game. She made numerous saves during the game, and I have not rewatched that game. I actually was there live. I have never seen that game on TV at all. I am just going off of my memory of watching it live, and I to this day, I was sitting at the end where the shootout was happening. And I was about probably on like the 18-yard box, something like that. So I had a pretty solid view. I still don't think it went in. I agree with Alyssa. I don't think that shot went in. I don't think it went in. But anyway, we can talk about the fact that she did save
That shot, yeah,
Blomkist.
I agree.
Yes, well, that one, and she saved Blomkist. And then I will never forget. I wish there was a recording of my face and Lindy, who I was with at the game, of when Alyssa Naeher walked out to take that penalty kick. I remember I turned and I go, "Holy shit! Holy shit! Alyssa's gonna take a PK." And Lindy was like, "Oh, what is it?" Like it was just shocked because we'd never
It
seen it
was.
before, like
Yeah.
never seen it before. And then she just buries it and then just walks right back and like, let's go.
Yeah. And she was the first to make and save, man or woman, a PK.
Ever,
Crazy.
yeah.
Like what an accomplishment for such a legend, you know? Like just to put a little stamp on the career of, hey, I'll just do something that no one's ever done before. Why not?
And do it with nothing, like just no excitement, nothing, like no celebration, just
I mean, she probably like, I don't know. I've heard a lot of keepers talk about their careers and being in a part of shootouts, and most of them talk about how they just sort of black out. Like they're like, I don't remember anything that happened. I just did it, and I can imagine that was like two times with her because she was so focused trying to save those PKs, um, and then also to take on that pressure. She went third, didn't she?
yes.
Like that's not a that's not just like a, oh, hey, let's throw our goalkeeper out there because we're so far into the shootout, like we just need more bodies and she knows how to take them. That's like a, we trust this player to make this PK more than most of this squad that's on the field right now. Like to go number 3 as a keeper is insanity. It's
Well,
insane.
we saw why.
And
So
we've seen why several times now. She's done it multiple
yeah,
times.
I mean, we
This
can
is not
roll.
an uncommon thing for her anymore.
Well, the next two things on my list are the two penalty shootouts in 2024 against Canada with the CONCACAF W Gold Cup, and then the She Believes final against Canada, where she had three saves on Canada, not just one, not just two, but three. And the PK she takes on Sheridan is fantastic. She's not getting to that. She's not touching it. And she, again, no reaction. Every time she's made a penalty, it's no
It's just
reaction.
walk back to the line. All right, let's keep going. I did my second job. I'm providing for the family right now. Let's go.
One day, I'm hoping maybe next season, if we do a tournament or something during the NWSL season, I need Chicago to get into a penalty shootout. I don't
It
want it to be
needs
in
to
the
happen.
playoffs. And I need her to make a penalty kick. I need it to happen. As I've said, I don't even care if it's in the run of play. Just throw somebody back, throw Sam Staub back there or Hannah Anderson or somebody and let Alyssa take the PK.
I do want to see it. I want to see her in a Chicago kit making a PK. Like obviously she's done it for the US, but I'd love to see her do it um, for Chicago. The odds of it are like much less likely than when they're on the national team. Like you said, unless it's in the run of play, but that's such a bad idea. Unless you're already losing like 4-0 or something, like maybe
I've
then
witnessed
you
it in a
throw.
high school game and it was bad because they missed and it was bad.
But it's like I almost I almost take those as back in the days, like was like 4 or 5 years ago since they made the rule change in the National League, when pitchers in baseball used to hit, um, like when it's like a 0-0 game and the pitcher's up and hits a home run. Like there were some pitchers out there that could hit home runs like they were nothing. Um, they're basically just providing for themselves, like because then they have to go on the other side and pitch and keep their shutout if they have one. So I almost have that as like the equivalence to what Alyssa Naeher has done with those, because the the amount of talent, the amount of mental strength um, that it takes to not only step in goal and be like the savior of your squad, trying to save these PKs. Obviously, you're not going to win a penalty shootout unless you save at least one. So you got to do your job. But to save one, to save two, to save three, and then also in all three of those occasions, walk to the middle of that box, bury your own point to save your team and yourself, and then go back in goal and save another one. Like just to, I don't know, like it's indescribable to me to imagine how anybody can look at that and just think that's just an average thing to happen, because it's not. It's no one, like obviously we've seen now like a couple of keepers step up and try to take some. um it's just not, it doesn't have the same feeling as Alyssa Naeher doing it for that first time.
she just she is so calm, cool, collected with everything that she does. And that's why having her be the captain of Chicago is just such a to tie this into the Red Stars, the Chicago Stars, excuse me, a little bit.
It's gonna be
Uh
so rough.
it's so tough. That's why she's such a leader. She is just such a leader with that team because she knows how to lead a team. She will go up and do what is asked of her at any moment. Want me to take a PK? I'll take a PK. We need to save. I'm going to get that save. Like she is just the epitome of what a professional is, and I'm so grateful that we will get to continue seeing her. And I'm so grateful for what she's done for the US program as well, because she's just been fantastic.
It
Um,
the because it like it's not just her doing these things on the international level. Obviously, she does them uh domestically as well, but it's like the taking not to just like keep going on this like taking a PK thing and just riding that out because she also is a very good goalkeeper. Um, but to be that leader, like there are people who are afraid to take PKs. There are so many players out there that will say, no, please don't put me on one, two, three, four, or five in a shootout. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have that responsibility. I don't want to.
one
I
of
don't
the
want to do
greatest
anything.
players of all time, Mia Hamm, did not
Yep.
want to take penalty kicks.
It's just it's some people just aren't built for it. And then you come and find a keeper who is built for it, which is nuts. But just on the actual keeper side of it, to even save a penalty kick, uh, whether it be in the in the middle of a match or in a shootout at the end, is also not an easy task. And we've talked about before how when a PK is saved, a lot of the comments are always like that was a poorly taken PK. Um, and the amount of like studying that goes into it, the amount of information intake that you have to have as a keeper to know the different tendencies of players that go into these PKs. It's like it takes so much, and for her to be relatively successful at saving PKs, whether they were taken poorly or not by the opposing team, even if a PK is poorly taken to the left, if she went left, like that, she's already done half the job. She already got the right side to go to. Um, so I always admire keepers. I could never be a keeper. I there's no way in hell that I would ever be able to stand between those posts and confidently put a team on my back the way that Alyssa Naeher has done. So like I commend her for every single thing that she has done in her career. And she's had wonderful, wonderful players playing ahead of her on that defensive line internationally. Um, that I'm sure she has nothing but incredible things to say about at the end of her international career, and I'm sure she's thanked them over and over again for the work that they've done in front of her, because she's such an incredible leader. She's such an incredible communicator. She will always put the team first. So she'll always put the team on her back and be that leader on the field to make sure everyone's in position to be the best that they can be. So, like I just love everything about Alyssa. If it's not obvious.
Yeah, we could sit here and talk about her for hours on end, to be completely honest, because even just eventually, once she leaves the Red Stars FC, I mean, we're gonna have to do this all over again because you've got years of time, and I'm not ready for it. Who knows when it's going to be, but it, players like this are I'm not going to say once in a lifetime because that's not true, but they don't happen very often. And she is in that top tier of keeper for the U.S. women's national team. And that is a very select group. To be the number one keeper for the long period of time that she has been is a testament to how good she is. Because when you're getting mentioned with the players like Hope Solo and Brianna Scurry, like that's Hall of Fame. She's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, unanimous decision, no questions asked. I believe it's a 3-year wait period after you are officially done. So you will see her in the Hall of Fame. I'm not even gonna like I will stand by that. I'm not even going to
Yeah,
question it at all.
there's no doubt. I,
No.
I never understand people who question her. Like you literally just read what 2-3% of the stuff that she's
Yeah.
done in her career, and like internationally, there's there's been no one better in the last year and a half, 2 years. She has just done wonders for this sport as a keeper. And
Consistently as well. That's a thing. Like some people have really good years, but she's been consistent over the last 4 plus 4 years. Really, really consistent the last 2 years, I would say for sure.
mm, yeah, the and it's like obviously with some of the teams that the US plays, you don't see much of whoever is in goal. Um, but that doesn't mean that she's just sitting there twiddling her thumbs or looking at butterflies. Um, because at moments in those matches where the other team does break away, she's done nothing but been focused and has been there to prevent whatever needs to be prevented. Um, she doesn't make those ridiculous mental mistakes that you see some keepers make. Um, the head on her shoulders is one of the best, if not the best.
She controls that back line. That's her job. And that's the thing. If that's how the ball doesn't get to her in some of those games, she's yelling. You can hear her. She's a huge vocal leader out on the field for the Chicago Stars FC and for the US Women's
People are
national team.
gonna hate us for this.
I'm gonna try. I'm trying really hard.
It's important to understand that aspect of it too. Because obviously you can watch a lot of sports, whether it be soccer or another sport, and you can just think like the main job of whatever position that you're in is like the only thing that you have to do. But sometimes defenders in front of a keeper are successful because of the communication of the keeper. They organize them. They keep them where they're supposed to be. Uh, you don't see the U.S. backline disorganized very often. Um, it sometimes you see it, but that's usually when there's just like a player who doesn't usually play there, or they're coming back to the team after a while or something. But they're not usually disorganized because Alyssa Naeher's organizing them. And then you look domestically, especially this year, and then at some points, not in the last like 2 years, but like in further years back from when the Red Stars were playing very well, um, their back line has always been very solid. Um, it's different. Like obviously, your statistics are different domestically than they are internationally because the U.S. internationally is either the best or somewhat close to being the best, whereas domestically, the rotation of players that Chicago has seen has had them be very close to being the best or being the worst. So it's like those statistics are going to be fluctuated. But when Chicago has had like a solid back line, like in the days of like when Sarah Gordon was back there, or even like this year, or the days when Tierna was back there before she got injured, it's like those lines you can see how well organized they are at times, and that's also due to having smart players on those back lines, but you also like need those players to listen to your keeper. But Alyssa is such a good communicator that she'll always make those defenders better than most defenders, and that's why we see so many good defenders on um, the international stage come through the U.S. as well.
I'm really hoping, speaking of Tierna, that the final game against the Netherlands of the year, that hopefully Alyssa will be playing in, that I'm hoping that Tierna gets time in that game while Alyssa's out there for one last time. Casey Kruger obviously was playing in the game against England, so they got to play together as well. So that would be kind of fun to have Tierna back there, center back pairing with that keeper for how many years in Chicago. So it'd be kind of cool to see that one last time before Alyssa retires at the international level.
Do you think they'll keep her sub, or do you think
Yes.
they'll let her go to the end? Do you think she'll demand to just go to the end and be like, I want to finish out this game. Please don't sub me out?
It might depend on how the game's going because Jonker, who's the coach of the Netherlands, has very adamantly come out and said that we are going to see their best. And I don't know. I I so they're going to come after us a little bit. I think that they're a little bitter because of the, not to get into it, but the whole Lily Johannes situation. And so I think that you're going to see Alyssa get subbed out sometime in the second half. I want to say like the 60, somewhere between the 65th and 75th minute, but I don't know. It could be like 60th because you want somebody to get time. I don't know. I feel like they're going to sub her. Even though it's in another country, she's still going to get that
Yeah, she's so well respected on
moment.
the
Yes.
international stage. And we've seen it with international players that come through the NWSL as well, especially the ones that sign with the Chicago Red Stars. A lot of the times when internationals sign with the Red Stars, one of the first questions that's asked in a preseason or in whatever first press conference they get into is like, have you spoken with Alyssa Naeher? What do you think of being on her team? And most of them, pretty much all of them that I've spoken to at least, have always said like she is like people on the international level respect the hell out of her um, and know how good she is. So to play with her is much better than playing against her. Uh, and
Yes.
and every single player echoes that who comes through the league domestically, and then obviously the anybody who is asked of it on the international stage after they play the U.S., whether it be a friendly or a tournament or whatever. No one has ever said terrible things about Alyssa Naeher. It's always very high praise, regardless of a country or a rivalry, whatever. Because not only is she a great player, she's a great person. And that's just one of the uh, many, many things that makes her the legend that she is. Her play on the field, but also just who she is, the moments she's given to the fans, the moments that she has shared with her teammates, and then whatever moments she shared privately with her family during her soccer career after her accomplishments that she's had. She's really like I know you say like she's not like I know you said that she's not like a once in a lifetime thing, but she is like one of one. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no one that is like Alyssa Naeher, and I don't think there'll ever be another player like her. There will certainly in the future be players who can accomplish what she has accomplished, and they can break her records, and they can um you know play more matches than her, they could win more world cups than her, whatever. um but just who she is both on the pitch and off the pitch, she's one of one, and I don't think anybody will ever be like her. And I might just be saying that because of what watching her play has done for me um, here in my life. But either way, I don't think many would disagree with me.
No, there's everything I've read about her in the comments from players about her retirement announcement. Mary Earps, after the game against England, had such praise and kind words about Alyssa. And that's the thing, like you hear the stories about what Alyssa has done. Every player like you talked to on the US Women's national team said she's that player. Like if you ever need anything, she's there. That's why they call her uncle. That's where the nickname came from. She's that person that's always there when you need her. She helps people, like whatever. Like when Mal was going through her after her surgery, like she knew that she needed space, but she went and got her coffee and would just like leave it at her door and text her and be like, hey, I left this. Like that's the kind of person that she is. And it goes above the game. It's more than the game. She is an outstanding human being. And I think that that to me sets her apart. Like you said, yeah, she is one of one. Um, she is I'm just so grateful that not only did she get to play for the US Women's national team, but those of us in the Red Stars community have gotten to watch her play for years, and we still get to continue to watch her play. And I think that the 2024 Olympics earned her some new fans as well. People that like 2019 World Cup, she earned a ton of people following her. And now with the 2024 Olympics, with what she did in some of those games, some of those saves are if you watch, like they were unreal. Like I don't know how they happened. That one Lauren from the Discord mentioned to me the starfish save against Germany. Like how?
That one still blows my mind. I still I remember watching that and just being like, what just happened? Like I cannot see a clear picture of what just took place because it was so ridiculous. Like you're right. The 2024 Olympics were just really raised the bar when it came to people noticing her. Like obviously she was a well-known figure. But I think that Olympics really solidified her status as this legendary figure that, people who aren't even born right now will know who Alyssa Naeher is when they grow up and their parents or their friends or other family members are talking about great goalkeepers to have played the sport.
Well, I think with her and that generation of players, it's the flip of what it was with the previous generation, where the previous generation on the national team level was trying to win the elusive World Cup. And Alyssa and other players had won one, if not two. She had two, and they were trying to win the elusive gold medal. And
Yeah.
so they finally got it. And so it's like, it's a perfect way for her to go out. Storybook ending for her to go out on this win. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, next year, we are going to go out, Chicago Stars FC rebrand. We are going to go and we are going to win an NWSL championship next year and
Whoa.
send her out.
That would be amazing.
We're going to sign Trinity Rodman.
Yeah, depending on how this off season goes, that could happen. It would be lovely to see her go out. It because it's not like she has not said that
Yeah,
2025
we
is her
don't know.
last NWSL season. We're just not quite sure. But if that were the end, whether it be this year or next year, if she plays, if they could get that title, um, like I think back to her talking about practicing on the polo fields and her locker room for training was the trunk of her car. Um, this sport has come such a long way. We saw it with the NWSL finals this year. Like they finally get a noon kickoff on CBS instead of or they finally don't get a noon kickoff on CBS. It's an actual prime time match. Uh, and just the atmosphere that was around the CP Casey Stadium, The amount of people that were talking about the NWSL finals, uh, it's just like to be able to finish out her career when like the NWSL is not at its peak, but it's rising exponentially. To go from what she had to deal with early in her career uh, to have both the World Cup, the Olympics, seven, she believes, cups, um, and to just cap it off with something domestically would be fantastic. I think it's much needed. Not needed in the fact of like it doesn't do anything more for her and the way people will view her when they look back on her career, but the it would certainly be like some sprinkles on top of a beautiful career.
I agree. I'm hoping. I'm all we can do is hope at this point. And again, we don't know how long she's going to play. It could be 1 year, it could be five. I don't know. And so let's hope. And yeah, I'm hoping that when She Believes rolls around next year and Sonnet, if they win it again, I hope Sonnet wears a shirt that says seven times with Alyssa's face on it, because those two are always the ones celebrating that. That would be fantastic. Um, but yeah, that I'm just so great. I'm so happy that they won that gold medal though, so that she had that. And that game against Brazil was unreal as well. Like the saves that she had, that one that everybody's kind of calling the big paw save that she had at the end of the game,
Yeah.
just that was Chicago Stars FC all over with that game. You got Mal with the game winner. You've got Alyssa making an unreal save. Ludmila played incredible for the amount of time that she was on the field. Like just such a fantastic match. And it makes me and it gave me hope for the future of the Chicago Stars FC.
It
I'm trying,
you
folks.
could see how much it meant to Alyssa and Mal, um, the way they were together after the final whistle blew. Um, Especially Mal, just like falling into tears and into Alyssa's arms, sitting on that field. Um, it really, really did mean a lot to them to finally have that gold medal around their neck. And
Yeah.
I just it was like if that was the last like big, huge international thing that Alyssa sought out to accomplish in her career and she did it, then she has every every right in the world to just say, you know what, on to the next. I'm out of here, and hopefully, the next generation can keep up with what she has laid down um, for that team.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was it. I think that she got that win, and now it's time. And I think that there's nothing else that we can ask of her. She's done everything that she's pretty much put her mind to at this point, and just what an incredible career. And it's not over. We've still got all of these games, at least for the next season. So all of you Chicago Stars FC fans better get out to the games, because we don't know if this is the final season or not. But I'm going to try
No,
and make it to as many games as I can, because it could be. So fill the stadium and get to games and support Alyssa and the rest of the crew when the season rolls out, because again, we don't know if this is it or not. And I feel like we might not. I don't know if Alyssa's going to tell us.
she should just stay until the Stars get a new stadium, and then she should
Right?
play a year in that new stadium and then retire.
I agree. I
I think
agree.
I think
I
it's very much an end of career move to just sign a 1 year, and then
mhm.
if she wants to continue, she'll probably just sign another 1 year, and she'll just keep having those conversations with herself and with others in her life about what is next, and if continuing to play domestically is on her mind, then she'll sign another 1 year, and she'll keep going, whether it's with Chicago or somewhere else. Hopefully not somewhere else, um, but
Yeah, hopefully not.
certainly uh, it could be the end this season. So really, really important that you go out and see matches so you can see Alyssa Naeher play before her career is over.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just appreciate you letting us do this episode that I kind of threw out there as
Hey,
hey, we should do this.
the second that this news came out and you were like, we should probably scrap what we were gonna do and talk about the midfield. We need to talk about this. I was like, absolutely. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that uh, I would wanted to talk about this week, especially because these matches are going on. When this episode comes out, that night or that afternoon will be uh, her last match of her career. Possibly, it should be like they're. It's not going to not be her. That doesn't make any. It wouldn't make any sense. Um,
Unless she secretly said, like, hey, I'm done, but don't
yeah,
say
I'm done.
anything to Emma.
See you later. Leaves, doesn't even travel to the Netherlands. Goodbye. Goes, chills for the off season. We'll see her again in a Stars kit next season. That
I
would
don't
be
know.
very Alyssa Naeher.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You never know with Alyssa. She's just sitting somewhere doing her crossword puzzles.
Right. So true. Let us know your favorite moments of Alyssa Nair's career, whether they be international or domestic. It doesn't matter to me. Just let us know in the comments. Come talk to us on the Discord. Let us know your favorite moments of Alyssa Nair, or just why you love Alyssa Nair so much and why you think that she's a legend like we do, because we know that you agree with us. It's the obvious choice.
Right. Right.
So we'll wrap things up for this week with that. But before we go, I did want to mention just domestically with the stars. We do have voting open for the Red Stars Report Community Player Awards. It's been fun to see the results on the back end so far with some of those awards and how they've been going. Obviously, I'm not going to share those publicly until the voting closes, but you can vote on these awards with the links in the description. You can also find it on all our social media platforms and in the Discord. Make sure you subscribe to our channels across all of our podcast platforms and YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a like. It really does help us out with finding other Chicago Stars fans and having them be able to see our content. It's really important to us that we continue to build our community and our viewership and our listenership. And obviously, we're still doing all of this during the off season. So it'd be great to continue to keep growing our community, even when the players aren't on the pitch. But follow us on social media at Red Stars Report to keep up with the latest news between episodes. Don't forget to join our Discord. It's been great in there, even though it's the off season. So many things to talk about. Next week we will be breaking down the midfield.
Yay.
It's gonna happen unless something huge comes out
No,
this week.
no
Um,
more.
it will be the midfield, I promise. But we'll see you next week for another Red Stars report.